It's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. Off your mind, like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind. Oh, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. And in the touchlight every corner. Oh, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Again, this is Maiyegun live. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe àní Maiyegun máa wí. Kindly share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And tell them that Maiyegun today again. Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary, ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣe o kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun diary, àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ o, làwa mọ̀. Somebody said I should continue from where I left off during the Sunday sermon. Trust me, I go bring all of them, join them together and make them a whole story. So we are going to first start from the signals coming from APC, Ekweremadu, for publicly admitting that Wike actually rigged elections for them in Rivers State. They were wondering why he took such risk. And even though it worked, but they are still kind of wondering, how he betrayed his own political party. And that is where we're going to start from. So thank you. We're also going to kind of review the judgment that sentenced Ekweremadu, his wife, and his doctor to years of imprisonment. We're going to review the judgment today. And I'm also going to try and take you through, the opening of the presidential tribunal tomorrow, which they call the pre-hearing. So when I bring everything together, as usual, it is going to worth your time. Share the broadcast. That's it. Right now, I expect the Buhari Danes, the Buhari Diderins, the Buhari Dinotus, the Buhari Dijatus. I expect the Buhari Shukus, the Ngoziaris, the Unekaharis, the humbled slaves, the sophisticated morons, the crumb eaters, the ass lickers, the crumb chasers, the all-risers, I would expect them to join us tonight, as usual. And if you know any, just tell them that Maiyegun today. Right, I did tell you that I am somebody who doesn't believe that karma is real. Even though for poor people like us, karma is like the poor man's vengeance tool. When you are unable, right, to fight your fear. So you just submit to the will of God and let karma do its job. To so many Nigerians, even though they are like divided along tribe, ethnic, religious, and most times class differences. Yeah. This has ensured that the criminal politicians who come from every tribe in Nigeria, every religion in Nigeria, every region in Nigeria, which means I, as a Yoruba man, we have our own criminals contributing to the destruction of Nigeria. And I am expected as a Yoruba man to have at least some little bias, at least to support them. They are from my tribe. There's nothing, today they will say, there's nothing woke about trying to castigate your people, no matter what they have done. At least other people are doing the same. Do you get that? So as divided as Nigerians have become, where they have also kind of loved their oppressors in a way differently. I've said that before. So this division has kind of given these criminals from all tribes in Nigeria a bit of immunity from general condemnation. Like, let everybody just condemn this person when they have done something wrong. Sure you get. But in the absence of, in the absence of all of that, so we ended up with the worst of the worst. Anyway, when their politics was taking the usual dimension to expose more on what Nigeria truly means, people like us continue to say, listen, if you want to fight a system for any reason, you cannot fight a system by following the rule laid by the same corrupt system. You would have to like kind of rule by your own rules. It's a tough one, right? However, in Rivers State, where Wike has been in charge for the past almost 80 years, when the drama of
Okay, hang on. There is this part where people like myself believe that the only enemies, the real enemies of Nigeria are those that so many Nigerians kind of love differently. But in my book, when you want to see those who are real, unpatriotic people in Nigeria, they are no other than your leaders. When you want to see those who have no loyalty to no one, not to your tribe, not to your ethnic, not to anything, they are your politicians. But when you look at those who shout more about patriotism, loyalty to country, patriotism to country, they are the criminal politicians. So over time, people like myself see them as the same thing, especially, right, when people like us choose not to jump on the bandwagon of defend your own. Because in the long run, the consequences, or let me say, the effects of their misrule, bad leadership, corruption, and the rest of that, the effect is not limited to whether you are a Yoruba, or you are Igbo, or you are Hausa, or Fulani. So to somebody like myself, when I see criminal, I call them criminal politicians, when I see criminal politicians in Nigeria pontificating about patriotism, pontificating on loyalty to country, what they are doing otherwise, they are those who have exposed Nigeria and Nigerians to what you call the world ridicule today, not mostly us. So in this 2023, it was obvious that they threw ethic, morale, and everything into the air. So Wike got a deal with APC, Ekweremadu. And they said within their circle, even though they asked him to give them just 25% in Rivers State, yeah? But to their surprise, Wike gave them over 60% of the vote, which puts to question the credibility, part of what put to question the credibility or legitimacy of Tinubu's declaration. Anyway, to cut the long story short, he is also the same person. He is a member of a political party. It doesn't really matter to him anymore. He's a member of a political party. He is still there with them. But in his mind, to fight a thief coup, right? So he made this deal for the sake of southern Nigeria. That is his narrative. But the people who saw through how he sold his own brothers, sold his own party, they are always going to be very careful of him one day. So one of them, when Tinubu visited, is the, I think, governor of, is it Niger State or something? No, where's Badru from? I don't care. Anyway, one of the APC governors picked up the mic and he said it to the face of Wike. That, you see, you surprised us all. Because initially, we were wondering, like, what do you actually think, or what were you thinking, right, when you went all out for APC? Historically, they have no ground or foothold at all in Rivers State. And it became so kind of like, impossible. Then Wike did the possibility, but they were wondering, like, what would make you take such risk? I have the answer, because the camera switched to Wike's face and he looked kind of embarrassed. So let's start from there, because, hang on. Yeah, let's start from Badru's confession about your 2023 charade.
When he said deliver Rivers to APC. I started wondering how. APC have never made 25% in Rivers. How can this man pull this magic? I've been sent around the country supervising and helping election. And I know how election management is. Then as we speak and we continue to talk, I see the possibility of him keeping to that promise. But then I started wondering, I hope this man will not injure himself in the process. Of course, our mission is the bigger one. The presidency can accommodate whatever risks he took. But I still feel, if he's the liberal president and he has senators and members of House of Representatives and also governor in PDP, how is he going to swing this? And true to God, the man delivered. I'm still imagining how. Most of us in APC know that I go to almost all the elections in the country and I supervise a lot of elections, and we do believe we are good in calculating and managing elections. But Wike has beaten me hands down. We thank you most sincerely for keeping to our words, for giving us that victory. And we thank you for yet inviting Daddy today for this occasion. Because I believe this will further cement the relationship between President-elect and the Rivers people.
So he was wondering, they did all their calculations all over the country. And Rivers State in particular, Tinubu stood no chance. No chance. Even to the day of the election, they just felt like, how is he going to do it? So what did he do? You know the story, right? And they felt like, what? I mean, like, what did he stand to gain? And this is like audacious. So, what would be that promised, whatever, that will make him go that far to the point that they declared Tinubu winner of Rivers State election. I mean, the winner of Rivers State in their election. But if you go to INEC website right now, if you have the time, go to the INEC website and see all of the results from Rivers State uploaded. Add them together. No matter how disjointed they are, try it. Tinubu lost. Tinubu didn't even get 10% of the vote in Rivers State. Yeah, Rivers State, I mean, APC didn't get 10%. On INEC website, too, where they declared the result. Too. So they knew what he did, but the fact that he was able to pull it off, despite the fact that Amechi, who is from Rivers State, well, I think they are divided anyway. So some people started, kind of sharing the video to say, oh, more, with a Wike's breakfast will be served cold. When Kolu finally gets that power. Because he kept telling him, I owe you nothing. Don't try to kind of patronize me in public in a way to make it look like we have a deal or whatever deal. Don't make it sound like that. People already think that is what's going on. But please don't make it look like that. So twice, repeatedly, he told him, no, you would have to do it normally. But he won't do it. He can't do it. He won't be the governor. So it simply means, right, no matter whatever Wike is pulling in APC, even as much as you say, politics, their politics is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. But you know, one of the things that some of them learned this time is the fact that nobody wanted them. APC, PDP, nobody wanted them. Like if people have their way, APC, PDP, right, they can begin to go into extinction, right, because after the 2023 elections. So they verified that. And they've put themselves, all of them, they've put themselves on record like, well, let's take a look. Let's see. What exactly is the message from the people if we have to review that? Yeah, we've had our way. We've kind of pulled it off. So who played what role? So that is where people are kind of more interested in what's going to be the end goal of Wike. It won't be governor anymore. Yeah? All the immunity and the rest of that, it won't have them anymore. So it will be at the mercy of breaking news from Tinubu. Like, Wike has been appointed for something that will just make him look like he belongs or is part of the team. But here is the worry. Those who are the northern APC caucus, those who are from the north, they see Wike's action, right? They kind of see it as that of, Omo, if you bring this guy closer to anything, and if he can't get it or have his way, it will ruin and spoil everything. As a northerner, to them, when it came to, listen, from the record, they said that the cabal that Kolu was fighting inside the APC, if you remember, they said this cabal, whatever they call them from the north, inside the Bukwari's government, they wanted the power to remain in northern Nigeria. And Atiku is the alternative. So you get that they were just ready to wreck Tinubu from within so that Atiku will have that chance. But they were dealing with Pablo Escobar. So they probably didn't know that while they were scheming, it was buying the entire building where they are planning inside. You get what I mean? They are using their position, right, to sabotage him, like he said. But what they discovered later was that the building where they are holding the meeting, Tinubu has already paid for the entire building, which means they were indirectly walking into his trap, and he worked for him. So what happened? Yeah? The moment the supposed cabal, the moment they lost steam, Atiku was left in the limbo. And somehow, instead of paying people to rig election for you across Nigeria, why don't you just pay the INEC? That's one thing I actually sort of pick up from that, that charade. Instead of you bribing police officers to help you rig election, why don't you just buy the entire police force and pick the people who actually decide things inside police force and pay them off? So they will do the job all over the country for you. Why should you pay INEC officials and pay them money when you can actually buy the entire INEC and let their chairman change his policy to your policy? That's what happened. INEC told all of you, you are all going to, only those of you who use your beavers and whatever they gave to you, only those of you who have those will be able to vote. Anyone without will not be able to. At the moment you finish voting, they're going to transmit your result to everybody, for everybody to see. That was the rule. But the moment Kolu entered the whole place, what happened? INEC changed his rule. No, we didn't say we would transmit results. No, we didn't say that. And that's exactly what Tinubu did. So, Atiku couldn't pull it off when they were already write the result. Obi, that pulled the stunt and the surprise, they made an effort, remember? There's on record that they thought he was joking. In fact, Tinubu and gang saw him as somebody who was going to help them to decimate Atiku. But from the northern Nigeria, at the time, when the whole thing was still like, it was pretty much like Tambuwa, and the rest of them who wanted Atiku and the power to remain in northern Nigeria, they had the blessings of some of this northern APC too. So it was like, whichever, whatever happens, it's a win-win situation. Sure you get. If APC lose and Atiku win, power remain in the north, we are brothers. So if Atiku don't win, and then Tinubu win, as members of APC, we will still find a way around to shop. So it's a win-win for them. So therefore, with the role that Tambuwa played, the betrayal of Tambuwa, that at the last minute decided to move all his delegates for Atiku, to them in northern Nigeria, that's a brotherly gesture. That's a very good gesture. That's a very good political gesture. Even though if it violates all the norms and the moral, the moral laws of what people will be like, what is right from what is wrong. So Tambuwa was an hero, not just to the PDP caucus within Atiku camp in PDP, even to APC people too. So when Obi started showing this movement and all of that, so to Tinubu and gang, well, that's a good win. That will help decimate whatever plan Atiku is cooking with the rest of northern Nigeria APC. This was kind of the impression at the time. Sure you get, Obi wasn't serious. It's just coming to divide Atiku's vote and all of that. So rather than for Obi to get the full support of the southern, mostly southern governors, that are actually PDP, for example, who are from the southern Nigeria, who actually met in Asaba. They met in Asaba. They had a meeting, and they all concluded that the power must return back to the southern Nigeria. And if that should be the case, it's fair enough to see if Obi or a Southeasterner will become the candidate of PDP. And then let's see who is going to become the candidate of APC. This was at the early stage. They now said anyone who comes from southern Nigeria, they must all work and support anyone from southern Nigeria in PDP. Okowa was the one who hosted the meeting. After the meeting, which means a resolution of the southern governors, so including APCO, the power must return to the south. So afterward, the same Okowa decided to go and beg Atiku that he will be willing to sponsor the campaign if Atiku will make him the vice president. Now, the moment Atiku emerged from their Congress that later scattered before G5 or anything, so Wike, who also helped divided the southern Nigeria, politically, especially in their PDP, he had nobody to come back to. But out of that southern governors and all that, he found the three. He found the three with himself, making it 4. And he started what he called G5. So, Okowa, that should have been on the side of his brother, Wike, now, okay, Obi moved. When Obi moved, it was practically kind of sensible, if you are their supporters, to expect somebody like Wike to put his weight behind Obi. Obi. Because before then, Wike publicly said APC was a cancer. PDP is still malaria. APC was cancer, which means he gave an impression that no matter what happened, win or lose, sink or sail, it will never touch PDP and it will never touch APC. So that impression actually worked more on those who didn't want both of them anyway. So Wike, who was in PDP, was kind of winking at the Obi people, the obedient. So therefore, they enjoyed the social media acceptance. Okay? Until everything changed. So to a northerner, that a southerner, like Wike and his utterances, would betray his party, even though Tambuwa possibly betray his party too, or maybe not. Sure you get. Okay, Tambuwa betrayed his party members, like Wike, whatever deal they had. Then Wike decided to go ahead and betray the entire party. And today, PDP no fit do pem. Can you believe that? Where a Wike has been out, and you know what he did? He made mouth and he told them, he dared them to suspend him or to dismiss him. Sure, you get? So he now went to court so that court can give him an injunction, ex parte order, that PDP cannot suspend Wike, PDP cannot dismiss him. And PDP just do like, they are suspending people, they are dismissing people around you who have not done half of what Wike is doing. But they no fit touch him. So somebody now said, Maiyegun, as the tribunal open tomorrow, one of the expectation of Atifu's camp is that, see, just call this conspiracy. It's a theory. And the information came as reliable. Sure, you get. But when in politics they say 24 hours is a very long time in politics, for those who know that very well, okay? But I'm still going to share it with you. They said that the long game behind the effort of stopping Tinubu, which is mainly coming from his own political party, APC, and they are mainly the CPC chapter of APC. Remember that. They are the cabals that Tinubu said were sabotaging him, and they're trying to stop him from becoming candidate and becoming president with all the drama around that. Sorry, where is that? Sorry, give me 1 second.
When he is doing the right thing and when he's doing the bad thing. Those who rigged the election know they rigged election. Those who didn't allow the people's will to prevail, they know it. Those who have heated up the policy, they know it in their heart of hearts. And the wonderful thing is that God himself knows them. We may not know. Even the court may not know. But God knows them and they know themselves. So if the more we mention God, the more we should be on we should be on guard, not to be found to be using the name of God in vain. There are countries.
I'll come back to that. That man that don't fire him like mad. Otoboke Yamu and the rest of them. They fired him. It's Reverend Father Onoye. Is it Onoyekon? Maiyegun. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So they said the long game that the supposed cabal want to play after everything they've kind of plotted failed, in quotes. They said their long game is they want the court to do the job of disqualifying Kolu. It's a theory. And I don't want you to take everything hook, line, and sinker. The fact that you're going to hear about it, there are events that are going to pop up later. Here you get, that are going to, in fact, show this up. And it doesn't mean it is a done deal. Here you get, if you know every other thing that would have stopped Tinubu, they are mainly from his own political party, not from anyone from outside it. The same people inside the same APC government have been the one who have been doing everything to possibly save you, Nigerians, from Kolu. But it didn't work. But they said the long game was that the court, the same court, after they have sworn him in, the same court is going to disqualify him with all the evidence there. They say, in fact, some of these evidences that Atiku is going to present are going to be coming from Buhari's government. On Tinubu. So you get. So when all these are made public, so Tinubu will be disqualified. And that simply means he won't be president anymore, right? And the same court is going to order for a rerun. And that rerun will not have Tinubu contesting. So it will just be Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, and others. Remember, I said it's a theory. If you like, you can put conspiracy in front of it. Conspiracy theory. So they said the reason why PDP is so powerless to act on Wike's shenanigans is because they believe that if the court should order a rerun, they are going to need Wike's help, no matter what he has done. Even though, when I heard that, I was like, people can make up a lot. Sometimes it will sound like a crazy thing. It will sound so sort of. So they are banking on that. So it will now be like it's not Bokwari and gang that stopped Tinubu from being president. In fact, he was president. They sworn him in, but the Supreme Court says he didn't win because of this, and that. And in fact, it's been disqualified from running. Others are saying that if that should be the case, if the Supreme Court didn't want to create a vacuum, they can order the second person to be sworn in. That's where the obedient disagree completely with that theory. Now, rubbish should they talk? That will not be good theory. But I say not theory. So that's why sometimes you should let people finish before you say, yeah, this is making sense. You see, I did talk about rerun. Rerun means at least if they order for a rerun, Atiku is asking for a rerun, Obi is asking for a rerun. But before the rerun, Obi is saying that he's got more votes and he's going to prove it. Not Atiku shouldn't even be second. Tinubu shouldn't be declared winner. He has the original result. He should be declared winner. Sure you get? Atiku is saying that he has the original result. That he defeated Obi and Tinubu. Therefore, he should be declared winner. But in the absence of the court satisfying that they both win after disqualifying Tinubu, the court should order a rerun. May all of us go back to the field and do the election again. But without Tinubu. Sure you get now. So those who are putting the theory then are saying that, so the reason why I have to make you understand that is because Atiku and Obi, they are asking for the same prayer. If you check it very well. If you check Atiku's petition, Tinubu's drug dealing case is part of it. Tinubu's, age, perjury, certificate, his education, his birth certificate and all that, they are part of Atiku's petition. If you look at Obi's petition, you will see the American drug case of Tinubu there is part of his petition. Same thing with, others too. And therefore, they are both asking the court to disqualify Tinubu from even contesting anything and declare them the winner, which is going to be tomorrow. So Tinubu's response is that, my lord, don't listen to all these people. I beat them silly. Throw all the cases out. So those who are now cooking the conspiracy stuff is that it is not that they won't swear Tinubu in. It will be sworn in because there won't be any vacuum. Bokwari won't spend a day. If Bokwari wake up on the 30th of May and they are still calling him the president of Nigeria, I can assure you one thing, that means you don't have any democracy anymore. If you are going to look around very well, you will see all the soldiers around. That means you have had a civilian coup. It's called palace coup. So which means on the 30th of May, somebody else is going to be answering Mr. President of Nigeria. Or can that person be thrown out by court? Well, we haven't seen anything like that before. Well, there's no point in saying that there won't be the first time. So that's what they call the long game. So at that time, it won't be blaming Buhari. It won't be blaming anybody. They won't be able to say, oh, you know what I mean? But there is also a conundrum. A sort of a confusion here. If the court says Tinubu didn't win and he can't contest and what have you anymore, a rerun is ordered, it will be between Atiku, Obi, and then Kwakwanso. But if the court says Obi proved more, that he actually won and is convinced, right, and is declared winner, that means they will have to swear him in that same day that the court will rule. It won't be the next day, that same day. Do you know what I mean? It simply means that whether not PDP, whether not APC, they will all come back as losers after the power play. That's if Obi just pull it, because from what I heard, it's not part of this long game for them. So like he shook everybody, surprised everyone, and proved to everybody that he is not a pushover in the whole charade, despite the whole thing that happened, right? Then he can surprise everybody too in their long game or no long game. Anyway, with a Wike is being told beforehand. Sorry, 1 second though. So I've got a little problem with my phone there, so I just fixed that. So that's part of what people are kind of like, envisaging, and that starts from tomorrow. As for Tinubu and gang, nothing will happen. But people say, history, events. When events happens, they become history. Just like the one that just happened in Nigeria, that is throwing Nigeria establishment off board as we speak. So tomorrow, we are, now talking about Atiku and Obi. So today, there is this clip making round. I don't know if I still have that. Oh, I don't. I'm going to get the clip, okay? There's this clip that is making round, and it was like Atiku snubbed Obi when they met at somebody's mom's burial in Bayelsa, where Obi went to say, hi. They said that Atiku snubbed him. Some said that, Atiku has a large heart. If not them, they're not going to even allow that Obi to near them. Guess those who are saying that? The Mechanites or the Mechanites, the Atiku people, they are so angry with Obi that they blame him for Tinubu's emergence. And the obedient too are also like firing back. Now I'm going to kill you. She Atiku no too old. They born him to come and be contesting running and the rest of that. Why he no fit step down for Obi? So this whole thing today when they saw Obi and Atiku, the Mechanites were like, see him. See, he's doing Ojuaye now. He's doing eye service. If I was Atiku, I could just kick him and say, get out of my face. The obedient are also saying, man, look at Obi. If I was Obi, I won't even greet that Atiku. Sure, you get like that has been going on all day. Let me see if I have that clip. See, I'm going to go bring the one they said they snubbed themselves. Well, it's just partly. The whole drama starts tomorrow, right?
Your Excellency, especially Your Excellency, former President, civilian and military, and Baba of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCM. Your Excellency.
Anyway, so I found the clip. I'll share that with you, where they said they snubbed him. I don't think so, because it's just a very short clip. It's seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come now. Thank you. Thank you. Come now.
How now? Anyway, so that debate is going on out there, and I bet it's going to get more intense, and then you know, as the days goes by. See, I want to take us through that judgment by that Old Bailey's court in London that convicted Ekweremadu. You know why I actually want you to see this, and we can have it as part of our chat before I start taking calls. People are talking about live streaming the tribunal hearing, the election tribunal hearing in Nigeria. There have been those who are for and those who are against. People want to see what's going on inside that place. What kind of arguments are these councils are putting forward? You know, just like the people who I have spoken to a few times said the reasons why they mobilized people to participate in that Charade election was for them to gather to gather their own facts about how corrupt the political system in Nigeria is, first-hand information, and they were not disappointed with the mass failure, deliberate sabotage of the system by the same INEC themselves. So if anybody wants to see how a court in Nigeria is going to legalize what happened by saying no wahala was, you know what I mean, and declaring Tinubu winner, they want to see how that happened. They want to see who said what. For those who witnessed Oputa panel, there's nothing new in broadcasting live the court proceeding, because Oputa formed a court. Hang on, I think this is acting up. Let me fix it. Give me a sec. So Oputa acted like a court, while his own was not to hand out conviction. And in this election tribunal stuff, I don't think they're going to have to hand out any. They don't hand out convictions. Nobody's going to be sent to jail for committing electoral crime if the election is turned. If the result is turned, it will just be like, okay, fine. Nobody is held responsible. So why can't they stream it live? You know why? Because people like us can be able to profile every one of them and what role they are playing, Abi, and put it on record. And they said it's actually the judiciary on trial if that is done. Mark, fix this blinking camera. I'm coming back.
Shay, help us, help us. There is God, there is God, God should descend, today God will descend here. Nigerian women will not cry in vain. Nigerian women will not cry in vain. This thing will end today. My sisters, if your child lost, will you stay and keep quiet? Will you people stay and keep quiet? The president now is calling you, come, I want to help you. You don't want to appear. Will you agree? No. Now the first lady is calling you, come, I want to help you. Come to find your child, your missing child. Will you keep quiet? No. Child, there is God. Oh.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Thank you. So there's nothing new in doing that, but they will likely not do that. The end result of your tribunal, even the judgments, they have already been written. It's been framed. By the time the whole charade about cut, by the time it comes to an end, they will just have to change the date, change some names, possibly, and change this or that and all of that, just little amendment. And the judge will read it out to tell you, no case. But when you look at the way this Ekweremadu's case, the way it went, it's a sad one, oh, sure you get. But like everything in Nigeria, it's all mixed. The feeling is mixed. The emotions and the feelings people expressed are somehow, they are mixed. And understandably so. Of course, we are talking about a man who has been part of those who have impacted positively and negatively on the lives of the people in Nigeria, and with what Nigerians see their politicians as, whatever come their way, they deserve it even more. That's Nigerians. But there are others too that still have this emotion that is bokun. The good ones that they will be like, oh no, even though I don't like him, but I really, really feel sorry for them. They are parents. I mean, I can't even imagine. I can all of that. So these expressions are mutual, you can say. And in my own, you see, in my own world, right? You are all right. I am more interested in the process, right? Than the actual result. Because it is the process that will determine the end result. So if the end result is terrible of anything, look at the process. That is how I diagnose everything about Nigeria so easily. Well, maybe not so easily, because it's a struggle every day, isn't it? So if you look at the process that brought Tinubu, the process that brought Atifku, the process that brought Bokwari, and on like that. If you trace them back, you can tell why the end goal is what it is. So I'm more interested in the process. Okay, somebody call it a due process. So if somebody is going to be tried for a crime in a court, they have every right to defend themselves, present all their evidence to back their case, and the system is allowed to take all of them in, process them one after the other. Now, if after all of that, the whole thing ends in conviction, even you, with the one jail, you go to agree with the judge. Yes, my lord. You are very right, my lord. I mean, you will be understanding what you have done. And here in the UK, if you are sent to jail, custodian sentence, where you are going to be in jail, some of you said that it's not jail per se, of course. But it's quite not bad. You know, it's a high-flying class, so it's going to get everything it wants, access to all it wants. He's a billionaire, a lawmaker. He's a multi-billionaire. His story is a sad one, but caused by greed and selfishness, irresponsibility. So when this judge was telling this story, and that is what I want you to kind of connect with tonight, when Ekweremadu was being convicted and his wife, when the judge was explaining their roles, how they plotted and planned everything, as well as how those Nigerian criminal leaders, including royal fathers, they were writing letters to the UK courts, everything listed. And I want you to see if this is how things are practiced. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sure, you get. But the only way to sustain the integrity of an institution is to ensure that you don't deviate from its rule because of whoever is involved. That's what justice should be all about, not in Nigeria. So this is what makes it interesting. So to every one of you who haven't really seen much of this video, the judgment ended by an Old Bailey court judge against Nigerian Senator Ekweremadu, his wife, Eunice, their own doctor, over human trafficking, organ trafficking, and so many other things they accused them of. How they plotted it, how they faked everything. I want you to smell the Nigerianness in this story. And I beg you, if you really want to enjoy your mental health, don't bring this, your mad Nigerian warped, my ignorant, mindset of they don't like you. It's because Oyinbo don't like you. Oyinbo start jejely here. Your criminal leaders, they turned this whole place to their homes. They wanted protection of everything they've stolen from you. Sure you get. So gone are the days when the Oyinbo came to steal your stuff, Abi. Today, now your people, they steal your stuff, bring them to them. Sure you get. One of them now ran foul of the law. So I will advise you to keep your bias to yourself. But if I can't help you, well, enjoy it while it lasts. But again, I want you to pay attention to this word for word. I'll be having break just to say some one or two things before we continue. I'm going to take calls tonight, God willing.
Tiagasa, the Tiagasa, he fell, he fainted, he passed out. He passed out.
To donating a kidney. I reject the defence assertions that he consented in any meaningful sense. I am sure that he did not. There has been a substantial and long-term adverse impact on his daily life. He is scared to return to Nigeria because of the risk of retribution from those that are sympathetic to you. He lives a solitary existence and is separated from his life, his friends and his family as a direct result of this offence. This all amounts to Category 2 harm within the meaning of the Sentencing Council's guidelines. I do not accept the Crown's submission that the nature and extent of the harm justifies a movement to Category 1. But it does warrant an upwards adjustment within the category range. The fact that the transplant was not carried out merits a downwards adjustment, but the level of that adjustment is limited because, firstly, the gravamen of the offence is the agreement that you reached to exploit the donor. The offence was complete at that point. The offence focuses on the conduct of the offender rather than the harm that is caused to the victim. Secondly, you did not withdraw from the conspiracy. Senator Ike Ekweremadu and Dr. Beatrice Ekweremadu, you can remain sitting for the moment. You have each been convicted of conspiracy to commit an offence of human trafficking. You brought a young man to London to exploit him. The exploitation was the proposed donation of a kidney for reward. The reward was to be the payment of money and a chance to work in the United Kingdom. People trafficking across international borders for the harvesting of human organs is a form of slavery. It treats human beings and their body parts as commodities to be bought and sold. It is a trade that preys on poverty and misery and desperation. The evidence shows that those who are impoverished, often living in multi-dimensional poverty, desperate for a better life, and ignorant of the true risks, are sometimes willing to donate their organs for money or the chance to work in the UK. Significant risks attached to such donation without proper aftercare. You each played a part in that despicable trade. You, Abina Abeta, underwent a kidney transplant at the Royal Free Hospital in London in 2021. You said that you and your donor were cousins. That was a lie. The clinicians at the Royal Free and the independent assessors at the Human Tissue Authority were taken in by your lie. They believed that the donor was acting altruistically as a good Samaritan. The transplant went ahead. There is no evidence that the donor has been given the necessary aftercare. It is not necessary for me to make a finding as to whether you exploited the donor. But what is clear is that you learned from your experience that it was possible to manipulate and corrupt the regulatory system by using a fabricated affidavit, by lying about your relationship with the donor, and by coaching the donor to lie. You, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, and you, Dr. Beatrice Ekweremadu, have a daughter, Sonia. She is very ill. She is suffering from FSGS, nephrotic syndrome. She needs a kidney transplant. Everybody has enormous sympathy for her and for the impact on each of you seeing your daughter's suffering. Sonia's uncle, Diwe Ekweremadu, knew Abina Abeta from medical school. He got in touch. Abina Abeta offered to help find a donor. A possible donor was identified. By law, his name may not be published. I will call him C. C grew up in a village where he had no electricity or running water. He left school at the age of 15, and he went to Lagos, where he sold phone accessories from a wheelbarrow in a market. He was earning about 3,500 naira a day, the equivalent of just £7. Tests in Nigeria showed that his blood group was the same as Sonia. He agreed to come to the UK. I am sure that he did not at any point agree to donate a kidney to Sonia altruistically. There was no reason why he should do so. He was not related to your family. He did not know Sonia or any other member of your family. Nothing was put in place to secure his future healthcare needs if he donated a kidney. The wealth and power inequality and disparity between you and C could not be more marked. You, Ike Ekweremadu, are a senator in Nigeria's National Assembly. You have held high political office. You had many staff, including domestic staff, maids, chefs, and drivers. You own multiple properties around the globe. There is evidence of as many as 40. More than £400,000 went into your bank account over a 6-month period. By contrast, C was unable to afford a £25 fare to travel from Lagos to Abuja. You each conspired together to bring C to the UK in order to exploit him. You all knew that was unlawful. You, Ekweremadu, had been part of the legislature that had introduced the law that made that conduct a criminal offence in Nigeria. You, Abina Abeta, secured the visa. You did so by telling a lie that C and Sonia were cousins, the same lie that you had told in respect of you and your donor. You also secured a fabricated affidavit testifying to their relationship as cousins, just as you had done for your transplant. You asked the Ekweremadu family to pay C a fee of 3.5 million naira. The jury rejected your account that the fee was for his loss of earnings. The fee was paid by you, Ekweremadu. The jury rejected your account that you knew the fee was a scam and that no reward would ever be paid to C. The evidence suggests that a corrupt relationship was established with a member of Royal Free's staff, an interpreter who agreed to help with, quotes, coaching the boy, end quotes, and to provide the, quotes, relevant interpretation, end quotes. You, Ekweremadu, were instrumental in establishing and controlling that corrupt relationship.
That is actually just the beginning. But let us point out the highlights of what that judge read out. In 6 months, when Ekweremadu was in jail in the UK and the trial was going on, his bank account received over 400,000 pounds sterling worth. I haven't converted that to naira. Even though it's not in Nigeria, he is still being paid, even when he's in jail. In 6 months, without doing anything, he made over 400,000 US dollars. The judge said they have the evidence that he has properties all over the world, with the evidence of at least 40 of them scattered all over the globe. You also heard how they tried to exploit the young man. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how much they promised the boy to take his kidney? 2,000 pounds sterling. That's how much. The judge pointed out that they had no plan for him. There's something called aftercare in the UK. It is not just going into the hospital and getting treatment if you are not well. There's something called aftercare. Some of them are very expensive, especially if you undergo very, very dangerous surgery. Once they take the young boy's kidney, it's going to be useless. Like, it can no longer do strong things that anyone does. They picked him up. They lied. They built affidavits. They called him the cousin to their daughter. They hired somebody, interpreter, to coach the boy what to say. The boy didn't even have a clue what it meant to remove his kidney. He had no idea even what kidney is, until he sat with the doctors asking him questions, and he was like, "Oh my God, no, I'm not a cousin. No, I don't even know her. I've never met them. I am not related to them. I am just a guy who was hawking in Lagos, and I thought it's something I could do. They promised me 2,000 pounds sterling." So the doctor that found the boy, that promised the boy that they would change his life with 2,000 pounds sterling, is a doctor. They put all of this together and he flew with them to the UK. Let's go on. There's another part. Let's listen to this.
Again believed the untruthful account that the donor and recipient were cousins. There was, however, a concern about the risk to C, given his age and his ethnicity. After the doctors interviewed him, They were concerned that he was not sufficiently mature and motivated to be an organ donor. This time, the transplant was not approved. There was no report to the safeguarding team and no report to the police, despite the indicators that the donor was a victim of trafficking. Those indicators included the tenuous nature of the relationship between C and Sonia, the limited evidence to support that relationship, and C's clear lack of understanding about the process, and also his reaction to being told that he was at the hospital to discuss a kidney donation. In the course of the trial, Hugh Davis KC suggested that a lesson to be learned from this case is that clinicians must be alive to the risk of trafficking and report cases like this when concerns arise. I entirely agree. After the decision had been made that the transplant would not go ahead, there was a sinister development. A consultant nephrologist and another man examined C at the place where he was being kept. It is not necessary to make a finding as to the true purpose of that examination, but it is easy to understand why C believed that he was going to be taken back to Nigeria for the transplant to be conducted there. On the 3rd of May, when C was due to return to Nigeria, he ran away. He spent 2 nights sleeping rough. On the 5th of May, exactly a year ago, he attended Staines police station. There he saw Sonia Nicholas, a police inquiry officer, and Detective Constable Hannah Paisley. As a result of them carefully listening to C, it was recognised that he might be a victim of trafficking. Arrangements were made to secure his protection and his well-being. Subsequently, each of you was arrested, charged, prosecuted, and convicted. C suffered a loss of his personal autonomy because you kept his passport and exercised control over his movements and his basic human needs. He was put in fear that he would be subject to the forced removal of his kidney without any appropriate aftercare. Now he is scared to return home to Nigeria. As he puts it, he is having to start his life again. I considered that a substantial compensation order might well be appropriate for the loss and damage he has been caused by your conduct. I asked the Crown to inquire as to C's attitude towards such an order. That is because, in some cases, victims of crime do not want compensation from the offender, and an award of compensation might even risk causing further distress. A police officer carefully explained the meaning, reason, and purpose of a compensation order to C. He immediately responded that he did not wish to entertain compensation. The officer says, quotes, C spoke with moral conviction. Despite understanding the material benefit receiving compensation may have for him, he adamantly said he did not need or want anything from the bad people. He no longer wants them to have any involvement with him in any capacity, irrespective of the financial benefit he stood to make. C said that he wanted to put this entire ordeal behind him and move on with his life. He believes this to be the right and fair thing to do, end quotes. 2 days later, the officer spoke to C again. He remained, quotes, resolute with his decision regarding compensation and insisted he had not and did not wish to change his mind on the subject, end quotes. Of course, I respect C's views. In the circumstances, it is not appropriate to make a compensation order. The Crown seek an order for costs under Section 18 of the Prosecution of Offences Act 1985. I adjourn that application and will make directions for its determination. In the case of each of you, I impose the statutory surcharge order in the sum of £190. In each of your cases, the offence you committed is so serious that neither a fine nor a community sentence can be justified. A life sentence is not appropriate, and I do not consider that you are dangerous so as to merit the imposition of an extended sentence. Accordingly, in each case I pass a determinate custodial sentence with the shortest term that is commensurate with the seriousness of the offence, taking account of the aggravating and mitigating features. You will each serve part of the sentence in custody before being released on licence. When you are released, you will be on licence until the end of your sentence. You must comply with the terms of the licence and commit no further offences. Otherwise, you will be liable to serve a further period in custody. The disclosure and barring service will include each of you in the lists of those who are barred from working with vulnerable adults or children. You may ask the service to be removed from the lists. The Sentencing Council has published guidelines for offences of human trafficking, contrary to Section 2 of the Modern Slavery Act 2015. You have each been convicted of conspiracy to commit that offence. The offence that you committed is closely related to the guideline offence. I reject the defence submissions that the guidelines are not apt to cover this particular form of trafficking. I have close regard to the guidelines. I turn to the question of harm. The transplant did not go ahead, but you each intended that it should go ahead, and you each intended the harm to the donor that would result, and which was eminently foreseeable. The donor would have faced invasive surgery with a small but still possible risk of death. He would have faced spending the rest of his life with only one kidney and without any funding for the required aftercare. He would have faced an increased risk of early onset raised blood pressure and of developing chronic kidney disease later in life, as well as a lifetime risk of needing dialysis himself or even a kidney transplant. He was at an increased risk because of his young age and his ethnicity. The removal of a kidney amounts to serious physical harm, which has a substantial and long-term effect. Even
You've heard that of Ikechukwu Ekweremadu, the multi-billionaire Nigerian politician that was trying to forcefully harvest the organ, the kidney of a poor boy in Nigeria that they promised to take care of, will give him money. I hope you heard the part where they said the Nigerian law against human trafficking. It was actually it was actually Ekweremadu as one of those who wrote that law, passed the law, and made it a crime to traffic humans for the purpose of harvesting their organ. Person will make law. He made law in Nigeria. Signed it into law. Bill signed it and made law. Or is above that law. Did you see all the meticulous step by step what they did? I told you, it's a long one, before we take calls. So this is them now reading back what they did. Abi, they wanted to force the boy back to Nigeria so that they can go and forcefully remove his kidney and use it for their daughter. The day that Ekweremadu landed in Heathrow, in his bag, when he was arrested, in his bag, he had over 24,000 pounds sterling cash in his bag. When I told Agbeke that he had 24,000 pounds sterling cash, Agbeke was like, how did they get pounds sterling in Nigeria? How can you get that much money that is not your money? You are not spending pounds sterling, you are not spending dollars. How did he get such money? Thousands like that, sir. Then they get millions of pounds sterling in cash if they want them. Cash, pounds sterling, in briefcases. Millions. Dollars in pounds sterling. I said dollars in pounds sterling. I mean, it's meant to, right? Dollars in millions. So if you are not living in Nigeria and you think, that poor Africa, poor Africa, where did they get that money? No, we're not supposed to be poor. But unfortunately, the people are. And that is why. Because those money ended up in the West, where they buy properties, where they buy stock, where they buy or invest or buy, businesses just to launder the money. And the government all over the world knows that. Sure you get. The day Ekweremadu landed in Heathrow and he was arrested, 24,000 pounds sterling cash was found in his bag. And the effort was to grab the boy, because they have already seized his passport. Grab the boy and hop him on another private jet. So the impression was that they were taking the boy back to Nigeria. No, they were taking him to Turkey. Yeah, they were taking him to Turkey to forcefully remove his organ. Remember when I said that they were not compatible? No, they were actually compatible. More information that we now have shows that they have blood. They have the same blood type, and that's all that matters. Anybody can donate kidney. I can give you my kidney if we have the same blood type. That's the compatibility they are talking about, blood type. So the doctor that processed that was supposed to be saving lives. It probably knows that anybody that donates their own kidney to any member or anybody, if you donate your kidney, you're going to need dialysis for the rest of your life. So once in a while, they're going to bring you into the hospital. They're going to pump your blood, clean your kidney, clean everything, try to give you some dialysis that keeps you a little bit better. So you're going to need all of that for the rest of your life. In fact, if your kidney should have any kind of infection, it may destroy that your single kidney, that you yourself may need kidney transplant to stay alive. Maybe you just give somebody your kidney, Abi. So 20 years, 30 years down the line, because you are still young, you are not old. It's not that, okay, you are in your 50s and you donate your kidney. Then you can probably just live for another 20 years or 30 years. So you will live to that old age. But if you are so young, you still have so much ahead of you. So medically, it's not always advisable because of all these risks, except if somebody can guarantee that you will receive aftercare. Don't worry, anything that pop up will be there for you, including if they will need to beg people for kidney for you too. So is that 2,000 pounds? Is that what 2,000 pounds will do? For you to see the heartlessness of man. And to those of you who are already swinging in emotion and all of that, anyway, I don't think any of you will feel good if that was your brother. Like, now man, they do mano. Igbo, they saw the boy as an Igbo boy that should get the best help from the kind of Ekweremadu. The likes of Ekweremadu should be able to just say, you know what, young man, listen, I don't want to take advantage of you, okay? I've got my own family, right? I don't want to take advantage of you as a young man. Do you know the risk that you're actually getting into? Do you know that if things doesn't go well, right, this may shorten your life? Well, here is what if you don't understand it, right, this is what I'm going to have for you. I'm going to put so amount of money in trust for you in your name and everything. This money, right, will take care of your dialysis and all of that. See somebody with DJ where they make over 372 million naira. He didn't do anything, he didn't work, but he made such money. So if he loved his daughter and he loved his family so much, none of this could give those organ, right? A poor boy, somebody like Ekweremadu, right? That you think, is the love of father for son. You need to love your. What do you want him to do? He's trying to save his daughter by killing another person's son, without even letting him know anything. Taking advantage of his poverty, just because they wanted to exploit him. If they succeeded, and you didn't hear that story, that young man would die in pain, unknown, and nobody. Meanwhile, Ekweremadu, like this, will be celebrating his children who actually never schooled in Nigeria. So no matter what emotion you have for them, now you don't understand. Now I just thought you should know that if the role is reversed, can any member of Ekweremadu's family donate their own organ to poor people just to show how much they love the poor? Can they? The young man heard about money, but the man that knows what he is actually going to take from him, but he saw him as a piece of what? As a piece of rag. He didn't consider that this is a young man from Igbo land that should be helped if he is ready to take this huge risk for my family. So when the doctors in the UK couldn't do it, Ekweremadu flew to the UK to come and grab the boy and take him to Turkey so they can forcefully remove that organ, still without any aftercare arrangement for him. Tell me what is more heartless when they say man, now man they do man. Maybe so. Let's continue with the hearing. You need to hear this to the end. Let's continue.
Donating a kidney. I reject the defense assertions that he consented in any meaningful sense. I am sure that he did not. There has been a substantial and long-term adverse impact on his daily life. He is scared to return to Nigeria because of the risk of retribution from those that are sympathetic to you. He lives a solitary existence and is separated from his life, his friends, and his family as a direct result of this offence. This all amounts to Category 2 harm within the meaning of the Sentencing Council's guidelines. I do not accept the Crown's submission that the nature and extent of the harm justifies a movement to Category 1. But it does warrant an upwards adjustment within the category range. The fact that the transplant was not carried out merits a downwards adjustment, but the level of that adjustment is limited because, firstly, the gravamen of the offence is the agreement that you reached to exploit the donor. The offence was complete at that point. The offence focuses on the conduct of the offender rather than the harm that is caused to the victim. Secondly, you did not withdraw from the conspiracy. The only reason that the transplant did not take place was because the hospital refused to carry it out. In each case, your reaction was to seek to exploit others. And thirdly, quite apart from the harm that would have resulted from a transplant, C has suffered substantial actual harm of the nature that I have identified. I turn to culpability. You, Abina Abeta, fall within the high culpability bracket. You played a leading role in the offending. You identified the donor and controlled him throughout the process. You did so in the expectation of substantial financial reward. I reject your assertion that there's no evidence of substantial financial advantage. Your bank statements show otherwise and demonstrate that you were reliant on the funds you secured from the Ekweremadu family to keep your head above water. You applied a high degree of planning and premeditation. For example, you arranged the visa, you secured a fabricated affidavit, and you organized a scheme to seek to deceive the clinicians and ultimately the Human Tissue Authority. You were thoroughly dishonest throughout. You kept a substantial sum of money that was paid by Ekweremadu and was intended for the donor. You, Ekweremadu, also fall within the high culpability bracket. You also played a leading role in the offending, and to a greater extent than Obina Obeta, who was acting through Diwe Ekweremadu at your direction. You did so in order to secure a material advantage, namely a human kidney for your daughter. You were involved in a high degree of planning and premeditation. For example, you orchestrated the arrangements with your brother, Diwe. You sought to conceal your link to the payment of a donor reward by instructing a member of your staff to make the payment via a currency trader. You were involved in the corruption of a member of hospital staff. I reject the defence suggestion that you were naive as to offers or payments of a reward to the donor, or that you only joined the conspiracy at a late stage. I am satisfied so that I am sure that you were the driving force throughout. Reliance is placed on the fact that you had no contact with C or Obina Obeta. That is true, but it is an indicator of the leading role you played, directing the overall operation, but keeping your distance by getting others to do your bidding. I accept that you were not directly involved in the fabrication of an affidavit and that you told Sonia not to sign it. Again, in context, that is consistent with the type of leading role you played. You well knew the sorts of steps that were being taken to try and pull the wool over the eyes of the doctors and regulators. I am satisfied that you, Beatrice Ekweremadu, performed more limited functions under the direction of your husband. I accept the submission of Anu Mahindru King's Council that your family was patriarchal and you were deferential to your husband. Your role was primarily to adopt the cousin lie. There was, so far as you are concerned, some limited planning and premeditation. You committed the offence in the expectation of a material advantage, namely securing a kidney for your daughter. Your case falls at the cusp of lower and medium culpability. Before allowing for aggravating and mitigating factors, the applicable starting points are custodial sentences of 10 years in the case of Obina Obeta, 10 years and 6 months in the case of Ekweremadu, and 6 years in the case of Beatrice Ekweremadu. Obina Obeta, stand up, please. There are aggravating features in your case. You deliberately targeted a victim who was particularly vulnerable due to his young age, his isolation from his immediate family, and his poverty. After the conspiracy to exploit C was thwarted, you continued to try and find another person to be exploited in the same way. As against that, you have no previous convictions, and you were a person of good character. I accept that you have done much good work as a medical doctor. You also have your own serious medical condition. As someone who has himself undergone a kidney transplant, I've taken account of the medical evidence. That does not suggest that your condition cannot be adequately managed in custody. I consider that the mitigating and aggravating factors are in balance. I sentence you to 10 years imprisonment, subject to allowing for the time for which you have been remanded in custody. You will spend 2/3 of that time in custody and will then be on licence until the end of your sentence. You can sit down, please.
So that's other part of that judgment being read there. So let's pick some of the highlights as well, right? Ekweremadu's wife got 6 years in jail. She's going to spend maybe 2.5. And if you add that to what she has already spent, yeah, she's going to spend maybe about 3.5 years in all. So she's going to be out by 2025. She will be released. Ekweremadu got 10 years. However, is expected to spend 5. Out of that 5 years, since they have been in custody during this trial for 1 year, so Ekweremadu is going to be expected to be out in 4 years' time. Now, the wife was playing the card of that young man and her daughter. They were cousins. She knew the danger that the young man was going to be in. As a mother, she didn't care. She played along. Even when the doctors showed that they were not going to use the young man's kidney, she kept pressuring that they should look for another one for them, ASAP. And guess who they were talking to? Their doctor. See, their doctor self know well. He has his own medical condition too. He's had a transplant before. But now the doctor called, they said, even when the hospital said they won't do it, the same doctor started looking for other possible victims. But this time around, they were going to avoid the United Kingdom entirely before the Okasala burst. So they told the doctor, we know say yourself no well, we know you are not okay medically. But don't worry. We can take care of your health problem in prison. So they sentenced him to 10 years. He's expected to spend 2/3. Hang on, 2/3 means 1, 2, 3, 6. So he's expected to spend about 6 years. Sorry, Ekweremadu is expected to spend about 6 years too, 2/3 of his own term. So 6 years or 6.5 years minus 1 year. Sorry, minus 1 year simply mean Ekweremadu will be out by 2028. So a doctor that sworn that Hippocratic oath. I've been waiting you, doctor, they call that thing where you they swear to that you will save life, you will do this, you will do that, and all that. What do you call it? Hippocratic, I've been waiting, I don't know. You shall know what I'm saying. A doctor that is meant to be saving lives turn to somebody that is working to get the organs of poor people. Now, the question is, if Nigeria was a place, there should be another investigation ongoing against the doctor and his practice too. How many poor Nigerians have passed through his hands and he's been paid handsomely by Nigerian politicians to provide them organs of people? He's a doctor anyway. He could talk people into accepting poor people, offer them money. Sure, say if Nigeria was a real country, it won't be out of place to start investigating that man's self in Nigeria and everybody that has passed through him. Because that won't be his first time. I can bet it. This one is not his first time. So how many? I mean, in Nigeria, poor people are just like nothing. They are just statistics. Sure, you get. They are just statistics. It's like anything that happens to them, It's not really a big deal. There are too many anyway, so let them die. So the crime of human trafficking, organ trafficking in Nigeria is as new as any news it's as old as any old news you know about Nigeria. But the people behind it are those who are supposed to provide safety for those who are the victims. So if the people who are supposed to keep you safe are the ones who are actually hunting you, selling your parts off, who do you run to? Somebody said God. Okay, that's fair. Because you should have to run to somewhere for refuge. Some say pray, that's why we say everybody should pray. Maiyegun, everybody should pray because this whole thing, we don't even know who to run to. I agree. At least that's the situation. And people are saying they don't want to be poor. But being poor right now is actually not the fault of so many of you. Whether you are working hard, legit, and the rest of that, there is nothing you can do to be out of that poverty. I'm talking about a lot of people. And it's time for you to know that money is not actually the only thing you need to be out of poverty. In Nigeria, let's hear the other part where the rich people, the powerful people, they were writing the UK court to free Ekweremadu. But let's hear the part of this doctor before we take calls.
Transplant. I've taken account of the medical evidence. That does not suggest that your condition cannot be adequately managed in custody. I consider that the mitigating and aggravating factors are in balance. I sentence you to 10 years imprisonment, subject to allowing for the time for which you have been remanded in custody. You will spend 2/3 of that time in custody and will then be on licence until the end of your sentence. You can sit down, please. Senator Ekweremadu, stand up, please. There are substantial aggravating features in your case. You knew that the donor was vulnerable because of his young age and his poverty. You had a profound understanding of the impact of poverty because of the work you have done for the ECOA Foundation. You gave direct instructions to ensure that tight control was exercised overseas. Once the transplant did not go ahead, you immediately sought to find another person to be exploited in the same way, rapidly managing to identify several potential candidates. As against that, you have your own ongoing health problems. You have no previous convictions and were a person of good character. I accept Mr. Hicks KC's description of you as having exceptionally positive good character, and that your conviction represents a very substantial fall from grace. You set up the ECOA Foundation and have funded that organisation, which undertakes a very great deal of valuable charitable work to help those living in poverty in Nigeria. At trial, there was a great deal of character witness testimony, including from Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma, the Archbishop for the Diocese of Enugu. I have been provided with a bundle of 51 pages of character statements for the purpose of sentencing. I have read all of them. They include statements from a former president of Nigeria, the current president of the Senate, the Bishop of Enugu, the Attorney General and the Chief Law Officer of Nigeria, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. That evidence speaks to your role in helping to establish and maintain democracy in Nigeria, and also as an international peacemaker. The evidence also includes moving pleas advanced by some of those who have benefited from your generosity and good works, and also a moving statement from your daughter, Sonia. I take all of that into account. It amounts to substantial mitigation. You were motivated by the despair of your daughter's very serious illness. The weight to be attached to that factor is limited by reason of the fact that, as you recognized in your evidence, you could have sought a genuinely altruistic donation, including from a family member, albeit not Sonia's immediate siblings. After taking account of the aggravating and mitigating factors in your case, I impose a sentence of 9 years and 8 months imprisonment. Subject to allowing for the time which you have spent remanded in custody, you will serve 2/3 of the sentence in custody and will be on licence thereafter for the rest of the sentence. You can sit down. Dr. Beatrice Ekweremadu, would you stand up, please? In your case, I adopt a starting point of 6 years custody. I do not consider that the aggravating factors that are present in the case of your co-defendants apply to you. You were not directly involved in the identification of the donor, and the evidence does not show that you were directly involved in the attempts to identify a further donor after the transplant did not go ahead. I take account of all the mitigating features that Mr. Mahindra KC has identified and the content of the thorough and helpful pre-sentence report prepared by Jessica Stephen of the Probation Service. You are a person of good character. You helped set up the ECOA Foundation with your husband, and you have been closely involved with its important charitable work. Much of the character evidence I have read applies also to you. You were also motivated by the desperate plight of your daughter and by maternal love. Further, in your case, I accept that although Sonia is an adult, you have substantial caring responsibilities towards her. Your incarceration will have a significant impact on her, in that she will no longer be able to rely on your presence as a source of care and support. Having regard to those factors, I impose a sentence of 4 years and 6 months imprisonment. You have spent 234 days on an electronically monitored curfew between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. I specify that the credit period for the purposes of Section 240A of the Criminal Justice Act 2003 is 117 days. So that period shall count towards your sentence. Subject to that, and subject to allowing for the time you have spent remanded in custody, you will serve 1/2 of your sentence in custody. You will then be on licence thereafter for the rest of the sentence. You can now...
And there will be ex-convict in the UK. I saw somebody saying other people have done worse things that they got away with. Another one was saying, but the Northerners are the ones who are harvesting organ. Why is the UK not arresting them? See, sometimes some of you should get out of it and realize that you are no longer 5 years or 5 years old anymore. Throwing those stupid tantrum, especially on social media, actually ridicules you. Sure you get. If you have any organ trafficker who brought somebody to the UK that you know of from northern Nigeria to harvest their organ, that they actually did it in the UK and they escaped it, the right thing for you is to blow it open. Okay? You don't need to manufacture nonsense just to satisfy your what do you call it, your curious stupidity, because it's kind of annoying sometimes. You can sit down and just make things. What about other people who have been doing it and they have been getting away with it? Really? A young man's life just got saved. You miserable cunts are more interested in why are others not getting punished for what they are doing in the UK. So if you have a shithole where every criminal is a lord and is a philanthropist, is a free giver, and the rest of that, of course we know that. But can you for a minute just kind of think about what just happened without you being so miserable, looking for something and something to blame it on, to water it down, and your usual whataboutism? I mean, once in a while, you miserable people should kind of remember that you are no longer 5 years old. I mean, you are no longer 5-year-olds. Right? So the conversation is that somebody who has been in government for decades in Nigeria failed to actually make improvement in your health care, in your educational system, that their children don't even live in Nigeria. They don't school in Nigeria. You know that most of you miserable cunts actually like kind of support that in your poverty. Okay, fine, that's the regular. No big deal. So when did it become so okay, right, to now turn the poor people to their guinea pig? And you can actually jump out there and ask your usual stupid questions. Why are they not doing it to others? Why are they not arresting others? You bunch of miserable people. We deal with you all the time. Unfortunately, some of you ask these dumb questions, not because you are looking for an answer. You are just looking for something to deviate it, to water it down. Unfortunately. Because a lot of you actually feels like, people like you feels like you are above being a victim when you are actually a victim already of that rotten system. Why can't they arrest the Northerners? The Fulani Caliphate. They are also coming. How can you be so daft? And sometimes, I'm so happy that some of you dafties, you don't pick up the phone to call this program. Though once in a while, there are some other dafties that miss the road and they kind of lost their tongues when they call in. When real conversation is being asked, some of you are blinded by your ethnic, tribe, religion, and other useless things that you pretend to kind of, no, I'm not tribal. And you weary. And that's why you kind of have to look for something like, hey, but is it Ekweremadu that will first do it? No, we are talking about Ekweremadu now. Okay? Like we have been talking about everyone else. So yeah, they've been jailed. And what they have done, ordinarily, the judge was actually being lenient. Yeah, it's just been nice because, yeah, somehow, it's a crime of passion, you will call it. But what happened to the family of the young boy? Because to some of you, he probably has no life to you, even though you are as miserable, as poor, as the poverty that the likes of Ekweremadu promoted in Nigeria, and flawed, like the nourished. Why they became multi-billionaire? They left the rest of you in abject poverty, and some of you miserable wearies. It's just the same way the likes of Ekweremadu see the poor. That's how you see them too. Look at how he brought a big man down. You are sheeries. And I remember telling you, if you really want to watch what I just showed there, don't bring that your lunacy into it. And don't begin to shout, they don't like Igbos. You both don't like Igbo. Can you just kind of act? You know what I mean? I know a lot of you have your bigotry in you and you love hiding it, okay? But I mean, you can't hide it from me. No, you can't. I will let you show it that you are a bigoted weary, pretending to be, But whenever that thing hits the right chord in you, you won't be able to hide it. Read the comment. A poor boy was brought to the UK for his kidney to be taken, and they promised him £2,000 sterling. to be taken and given to their daughter. No aftercare plan for him. But you are shearies, you mad wearies. Are more interested in why are the Oyinbos interested in they don't like Igbos. Like you actually feel that's what this is all about. Not because Ekweremadu that you want to use is because they don't like Igbo. The boy that he brought to the UK, the poor boy, is also Igbo. So they told him to go and bring a poor boy and bring him to the UK to extract his organ. Abi? Then they decided to arrest him because other people are doing it too. So why can't Ekweremadu do it and you're sheer did? Maiyegun, you don't need to curse people. People like say you are new. You know, if you are new, well, you are welcome to the party. I don't know how to say it otherwise. If you are Olori Bruku, I'll tell you that you are Olori Bruku. It doesn't matter how much you pretend about it. We do know the Olori Brukus. You know, the Olori Brukus that feels like, hey, I like this guy. He's always exposing APC. Ashire. Do you think this is all about APC? Or PDP? Or whatever other things you have in your warped mind. A crime is committed, and in Nigeria, your criminal leaders, they are from every tribe, every religion, every region. So if you want to actually enjoy the conversation of MaiyegunsDiary Politico, don't come here and start when, you know, for example, when I say something about Tinubu, I like this man is very factual. Weary, me factual. Because Tinubu sounded like somebody you don't like, Abi. Okay, great. So if I speak about any other person that you seems to like, and you begin to feel like, leave that one out of it. Maiyegun, I know what I am saying. There is a conspiracy against Olori Bruku. Don't do that. Don't do that here. You know why? You are trying to deviate us so that we will no longer see the crime he just committed as anything too big. Maybe other people are doing it. Oh, Nikure. If you are Igbo watching me right now, and somehow, in your warped mental mind, now people will not like Igbo. They go after Ekweremadu. Listen to me. If you don't understand Onikure, you no go die well. Your heart no go touch ground. Sure you get. Look at me very well. You are worse than I don't know how to describe you. But listen, if you are still vying on that, thinking because this one is an Igbo, this one is a Fulani, it's a conspiracy against us, you mad. I tell you for free. Because this guy just committed a very grave crime, something that should ordinarily, which I have seen everywhere, Igbos, so Yorubas, you know, even mostly Igbos, they rejected him. We know the damages he's done to our people. Those who are going to oppress him are those who are licking their asses like you have them across Nigeria. We know what he's part of, and I do have some of them too. So don't ever bring, because he's an Igbo man, because he's a Yoruba man, and because he's a this one man, don't bring that madness here. It no go work for you. Don't cook your conspiracy in that your dingy, in that your room, and then begin to type nonsense to say, I know what I am saying. What are you saying? Really? Like say you don't smoke Maya. If you meet your other lunatic orders like that, you can share that with them. This man took a poor boy from Nigeria. That's the crime. He took a poor boy from Nigeria, deceived him in order to what? To go and remove his organ, his kidney. They told him that he was doing something that will never harm him. Now we know it was going to harm him. The young man escaped or dodged a bullet. So you are interested in, because he's an Igbo. Oh, Nikure. Ati Wike, whatever nonsense. But anyway, if your papa born you well enough that you get the courage, I actually want to engage some of you lunatics that you think you can deviate it and turn it to something and all of you. And to those of you who actually know better, Ekweremadu is -1. It doesn't mean that he won't go back to Nigeria and start enjoying the same privilege. Or now the same Olori Brukus go still bring out the drum to welcome him at the airport after the jail time. And they will still tell you he's their leader. So I'm not going to be surprised about that. But if you have the enough courage, pick up the phone and call me. I'll be here. The number is on your screen. Or you will know that you're not speaking. You are not actually going to be talking to a 5-year-old. Sure you get. You can pick up the phone and bring up your conspiracy. It's because they don't like him and the rest. It doesn't really matter. you go meet me for here. I get your size here. Just make sure, say, when you want to call, your voice no go dey cut, your voice no go dey shake. Because when you bring down that your conspiracy to defend the Ekweremadu, okay, we can actually have it live. But before then, I go make some extra tea, and then when I come back, I will take calls, and you have your chance too. And until then, please, you can still like this broadcast if you haven't. When I get back, I'll start taking calls. I have a few people already on the line, but I am going to have to start taking them when I get back. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I have my first caller on the line. I'm glad you are still there. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Thanks so much for your patience. So, yeah, we are back live. Everybody can hear us now.
I'm calling because I'm so disturbed. I was reading the comment. Some people, they will come to your program and they will laughing imagery. I mean, we know sometimes you can put some humor in there to make it funny. And they will just laugh. Someone talking about this serious situation. Calm down. Maiyegun, let go. And that's why that country doesn't go nowhere. We don't. I mean, look at what that guy did. The judge. You guys, what letter from Obasanjo, whatever, it still go by the law, by the book. I mean, we are so, I don't know, our mentality in that country, even people that come to abroad, they still have that same mentality. They brush everything on my soup, everything under the rug.
Everything is just for laugh.
I mean, they're laughing. I mean, it's like crazy. You know, like you were saying, and I was very happy about your compassion towards what you said at the last of the your conversation you had. You just spoke, you know.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. Most Nigerian consciousness is dead. You know, you go to Facebook, you see a clip of a woman drinking poison. In front of your husband's recording, whenever it's recording, the lady drink poison and that. And people are laughing about that. People going within that country. How much people say that? You are so emotional. You are too emotional. Let go. Can't stop. I mean, who does that? Who does that? Like you just said now, some Igbo saying that, oh, because it's Igbo, that's why it's the law. It was, if it's caught, it should be prosecuted.
That's right.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're Bao or Awusa, whatever. If you're caught in your sin or whatever,
the right thing for you is to be punished for it. It doesn't matter who you are. Or no, they will bring that coloration to it just to water it down, to make it look like he didn't. Whatever he did is not that. At least some are even saying, but they haven't removed the kidney now. That
can be your family. That can be your. I mean, oh my God, Maiyegun.
Thank you very much.
Let me let you speak about that call. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So I have another caller just rightly on the line. Hello there.
Hello, Maiyegun Baba.
Hey, Ahmed. How are you?
Yes, sir. I do. Right there for now.
Well, I'm still here. Oh. I am still here, non-tired.
It be like say, I don't miss well for this program over the months. I don't be back.
So
especially coming live.
To do.
I get no be small catch up. And it be like say during that time you don't join this platform where we say they don't know as things they work for
exactly. Maiyegun, please, you don't need to abuse anybody. Continue talking. I'm like, I say you are new here, Abi. Okay, you are welcome. You will still get used to it. Don't worry. I like the way you are talking, but I just don't want you to. So, what do you think Buhari didn't mean? Do you think I'm praising them? What do you think Buhari Shuku, Ngoziari, Unnekari mean? I'm praising them, Abi. You are welcome. Ahmed.
You know, say before now, our views know they pass that kind. They pass that kind to 1,000. 1,000, 1,800, 2,000, maybe 2,005 at most. But you see, we enter that kind 3K now. So that pound is missing. Because how we go to talk about waiting somebody talk, or waiting somebody do? One will go to talk say, you don't already talk to them. I did the comment. Say, I don't really eat in Java if you are looking on. And I declare me. Come, make her tell you now. Here we know the condone nonsense for you. Oba Shivili, I'm a Jaileba. Hey, we go give you blala. We know the look face. You be Yorubani, you be outside. You know send your mama around here. I'm a Legba.
And if you are not comfortable,
you can
what? Use the exit.
Just go. Because
you know who anybody anything. I'm following you because I thought you are Baba. You know who anybody anything. Oh, unfollow now for your own sake. Oh, if not, at the end of the day, the emotion where you won't explode, you will go exhaust them for you. Because whatever passion you have for the criminals, it will touch them and you will get offended.
Because this person is cold right now. The person you talk to just insist, Tinubu, waiting. You go down and say, instead of getting your own preference for the keys where you don't talk about. So come, if you don't understand, just take your time. Listen, go back. There are over 2,000 to 3,000 videos. If you have the time, go and watch. Then you understand the kind of platform you are in. Not the kind of useless people you go around searching on your YouTube, watching them, they put rubbish in your head and you feel you go everywhere you can get that same nonsense. Not here. We don't have that here. We are different. If you do anyhow, you will see anyhow. If you carry where they come, with the plenty where we say they go trip, many will you go run, you go forget yourself, you go run. So you better mind yourself. And for Ekweremadu, me, I'm not happy. I'm not happy as in get 10 years.
Why?
Yeah, I know happy. One made them double am. We come within whole family. Within whole family. Some people they talk say, now they picking the pity pass. If you know within all these children of these thieves, these criminals they do, you know go feel pity for none of them. You know go feel pity for none of them.
Baba, they pick a chicken. I want that one. I want that one. Give me 3. We'll go test. Maybe any of the 3 go match my daughter's kidney. Oh yeah, give me 3. Can you get us 3 chicken? I want to go check them. That's how they are picking people.
Maiyegun, make I tell you something. I don't tell you this thing. No be today. The area where me them born me. Area town politician one for Kaduna there. Now area will see them. Anybody will know Kaduna GRE for Kaduna, Agari for Kaduna GRE. You go know see that area no be small people there. Most of the young guys will say we come up together, we go together. Most of them they are papana politicians, commissioner and Tinubu. We be sure we the come out with the fear down on Shiman lost the tom along cheap briefcase about $1 how much is the change dollar? Is it 70 how much or around those 2001 tomalo your dollar. Toma what amalo see one area for Kaduna there they call a $100. If anybody there here will know Kaduna $100 around $1 where they go change where be the change or your passive we go change money, go to spend money with them. We sabi them, we sabi the kind of rubbish they do with money.
That's right.
So now when we don't come on, we don't see anything they happen. We don't see all those things are part of those things that affected us. We nobody say our papa who, but we did lucky. We they feel I'm saying we did lucky that time to be around them. Waiting them impact, they don't impact anything. Now to just come out to them, go spend money, go do anything. So we don't know say now our own life.
So that you can be feeling guilty. That you wanted them, you wanted him to be jailed. Now they want you to feel guilty for thinking that you wanted that. Baba, Nami kidnap somebody for him. Traffic human being for him. Why should I feel sorry for him? Because of his daughter.
If the picking self with the one borrowed kidney give, the way the one dash kidney, if you not take time going and one city over this time. So only Babe, she did say as a papa is still. She no talk, she no slow down. She no fit talk to her papa. They go say you can libere below more Yorubas we don't find. But the picking know the situation our own parents. Even I be the picking never grow enough to tell them say, Daddy, these things you guys are doing, I don't think is right. You know? Talk to your daddy. Let them know that what they are doing is right. It's not right, sorry. What they are doing is wrong. But because I'm going, they enjoy that
like
love
parents, of course,
they can't say it. So you can't come on. You want to know about this side even. But on my show, my worst because they will learn from their parents. They will learn the same shit from their parents. So because this happened to them, I'm not sympathizing anybody.
See, Ahmed, how many times we don't hear children of these people to say, "My father can buy your entire family." Is that not how they see the poor? How many times have you heard that from them? My father can buy your entire family. Do you know me?
Maiyegun, if they go out there, if they mess up, they go out there. If they do anything, now then they wrong. But if police come and say, now that picking, now social person picking, I'm not touch, just leave them.
Just leave them.
Just leave them. Police go, no one they go let them go. And himself no sin a privilege in the enjoy that. Now, same oppression with their parents, they oppress you. Themselves, they use the privilege to their papa own place. They use an oppress you. But you can't say, make me a
enjoy. For stopping by.
All right, now. All right, Baba.
Nice one. Here is another caller on the line. Hello there.
Hello, good evening, Maiyegun.
Good evening to you, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine. How is your family?
Well, we are surviving. Thanks for asking.
This is Dongada Online.
Dongada. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, your usual.
I know.
I'm very well.
Brilliant. So good to have you again. Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, Maiyegun, I might take a little time today. I want to tell you something. I'm actually from Enugu State, right? And this Ekweremadu in particular we are talking about. My mother died in 2020. What caused her death was because we took her to UNCH. This UNCH is at Ekweremadu's constituency. In fact, it is at Ekweremadu's local government. And this UNCH is where Ekweremadu is receiving money every year for the project to renovate and equip the project. But the reason why I lost my mom in 2020 was because I rushed my mom in that hospital when she had an attack. So the hospital was supposed to run a quick test and do the normal process by treating her. But we waited from 5 a.m. when this incident took place, 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. They said that the person operating the machine to run the test is not available. We keep checking and checking and checking and checking. At the end of the day, we met a cleaner there. The cleaner said the machine is not working. That there is no need of wasting our time. That is the reason the operator is not coming. That he has not even been coming for the past 1 week.
Wow.
You understand? This hospital, if you know this hospital, UNCH, is one of the biggest hospitals in Nigeria. It should be around top 5 or top 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But the machines there are not working. I had to rush my mother from that place to another hospital where they ran the test. Before I could return to the hospital, I lost my mom on the way. Okay. You understand? Why did I say this? When you are talking about Nigeria, there are some people to be investigated in Nigeria.
Yes.
About the kidney incident. There is kidney business going on in Anambra or Kuzuka. Or haven't you heard about that? What investigation has Nigerian government done about it? This thing started during the NSAS when it was exposed the first time. During the time of their first commander, who with the help of the former governor of Anambra State, ran to Ghana. Today, they appoint another commander who still continue with the same business. And the guy went to expose them. What did they do? They went to arrest the guy in Benin Republic. Today, that guy is in their cell. Nobody is talking about the guy. Nobody is talking about the matter again. And the business is still going on up here today. You understand what I'm telling you?
I'm with you.
Ekweremadu, I'm from Enugu State. I am opportune to go to any occasion where the governor of Enugu State, Ekweremadu, any of them who is the leader of Enugu State today goes in, I go there, and I speak with them directly. You understand what I'm telling you? Ekweremadu has been stealing with he collude with the current governor of Enugu State. What they do is that they will map out land for layout. As for this thing, I'm telling you, this is 100% sure information. I'm a victim. They will map out land for. I'm into real estate in Nigeria.
Okay.
The reason why I traveled back to UK is because they broke me. The government broke me. They took all the property I bought. I was reselling, and they took all of them. Ekweremadu is involved. He was doing it with this current governor of Enugu State. What they do is that they will map out land for layout. They will sell it to us. We will buy. We the real estate dealers. After buying them, they will go and pay the rival community to come and clash with the owner of the land, the community that owns the land. The government will now take it back from us and say that the community are fighting, that the government is taking over the land. They will map out like 50 acres of land to Ekweremadu. Government will take like 70. They will return the land to the community, the owner of the community. They will start selling it again to other big states.
And this they just do that in circle and in circle. Who are you going to report to?
Exactly. Exactly. Maiyegun, I can take you to more than 5 places where Ekweremadu have more than 50 acres of land in Enugu. I'm not talking about the hotels he buy for 500 million. The one he bought from my friend, 500 million, not a hotel, an empty house. That house was owned by one commissioner under Chimaroke. He went broke after Chimaroke left the government. Ekweremadu bought it for 500 million. He paid cash from Abuja. We went to Abuja to transact that. You understand what I'm telling you?
I'm following.
Ekweremadu. this thing they are saying, Ikoha Foundation. Have you seen anybody that come out to say, they should release Ekweremadu for us, so he was paying our school fee? He doesn't run any foundation. The foundation he built, he registered, is just the foundation he used to manipulate people during the election. He will gather the women from every village, give them 2,000 and one bag of rice to share. Maybe if you are from this community, you people have 2 bags to share. In his house in Independence Lab, I'm saying adjacent to Ekweremadi's house in Independence Lab.
Wow.
So I'm giving you first-hand information.
I can relate.
That is the foundation he runs. You understand what I'm telling you?
Yes,
he
sir.
doesn't run any foundation. He doesn't train anybody. And if Ekweremadu actually succeeded in taking this boy to UK, he was going to take his kidney and render that boy useless without giving him anything. He was not going to give him a dime.
No.
Do you know that if actually Ekweremadu made that kidney issue public, that there are so many Nigerians who is willing to donate.
Who are willing to
But
donate,
because
exactly.
of his wicked intentions, because of his wicked intentions, his ungenuine mind, that was why he made it secretly. He went through the process of
Like black market, yeah. Going through black market for human organ.
So, thank you. If these people are not heartless, if this man are not heartless, this man, like according to the record, he got more than 400,000 pounds.
Yes.
While in the cell.
372 million naira. That's what he got in 6 months, even though he's in jail. Multiply that by 2, by the way, making it a whole year. 372. Is that not almost 600, what do they call them? 80 something million, nearly 700 million naira. He made 700 million naira.
Maiyegun, that is the one that went into his account.
That's the one that went.
What of the one that went into his account in the US, in Nigeria, in other countries where they bank with, in Switzerland? What about those ones? So what stops this man from taking like 50,000 if actually he loves his daughter and he wanted to show this guy family, maybe leave them from poverty? What stops him from taking like 50,000 pounds or 100,000 pounds to give this boy? He's not going to take away anything from Ekweremadu. That man is so heartless. He's so heartless, just like other politicians in Nigeria. I don't feel any pity for him. And for those who come to comment, is he not the target people? Is he not
I know them now.
that he wants to help? I just advise you to overlook those people because I have seen them. I have seen people like them. I have lived with them. I can't change their mind. So what I do is that I overlook them because I have caused them like you are doing, and it's not changing anything. So what I do is that I overlook them. You understand?
I like that.
If you leave me, I have a lot to say.
I know, don't gather. You have said enough for now. And as always, right, you've always been a blessing, I have to admit. And I'm so happy that on this particular subject, you have a personal experience. And a lot of people who heard you right now, they are probably going to start wanting to share their own stories too. Don't gather. Thank you, sir.
I swear to God, Maiyegun. Thank you very much.
You have a good one, okay? Let me take another one where I have... hello.
Hello, Maiyegun.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
I am very well. Thanks for asking. So it's you next.
All right.
Sir.
Yes. Right. Yeah, the Ekweremadu, the problem of Ekweremadu is a very greedy man and a wicked man.
Obviously.
Yeah, anybody who is greedy and wicked will always, somebody who is very greedy will always meet obstacles in life. Right?
And I think that is where the karma comes in. Somebody was laughing at me and said, I want my brother here talk, say, no, believe in karma. Say, this one is not karma. I said, listen, karma to me is like a, weak people or poor people's tool. When you can't do anything to them directly yourself, then you wait for God to punish them. So yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But
in fact, what baffles me now that I just saw a video, I think today, that in a village of the Ekweremadu, yeah, I'm an Igbo man, in a village of Ekweremadu, that the people gathered from this village to go and consult our oracle, praying for oracle that Ekweremadu will be released. That is how these people have used their wickedness, used poverty to weaponize people. That people went to the village and start praying for oracle that this is the man for them. And the people, some people cannot see that this man has committed a crime, that is a criminal, that he has committed a crime. That means, do you know what Ekweremadu has done?
Tell us.
What is telling you that he has no value for human life.
Obviously.
Trust me, that is the worst crime you can commit as a human being. When you don't have value for human life. That boy is like a piece of shit. In fact,
exactly.
in his own mindset,
like a piece of rag that they can just throw away.
In his own mindset, Ekweremadu and his family, they are thinking that they're doing good for the boy.
Yes.
They are thinking that they are doing good for the poor boy. That is what the mindset is all about. You know what I mean? But whatever you do, whatever goes around comes around.
It does.
Yeah. You can, even if you look at them, all of them very amateur criminals. He's buying property all over the place, both in UK, both in those property and in his name. And how much is your salary as a senator? How much do you get? You're doing all these things. In fact, what happened now that this Ekweremadu is a bastard. Obedience should be angry with Ekweremadu because he's trying to bring distraction for immediate problem coming up tomorrow. All right? And he has actually played a very good news for Tinubu's son. Because Tinubu's son was shit last week. Nobody's talking about what Tinubu's son has done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
It's past now. It's Ekweremadu now. Stockholm syndrome, Baba. Remember, Stockholm syndrome. Eh? Yeah, continue. Sorry, continue. I know the connection can be funny sometimes, but continue, sir.
Yeah. So nobody's trying to remember that because all these criminals, they're committing criminals every day. Yeah, Ekweremadu, you spending millions of dollars paying private school for your kids, going pay all of them study in UK, but you cannot even provide a decent primary school in your village. You say you cannot provide decent secondary school in your village. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you, last week we had an allegation that Tinubu's son used $11 million.
Yeah, dollars.
$11 to buy a house in London.
Yes.
Yeah? Whereby you as a young man, as a decent young man, forget what your father is. You want to change things. You want to move Nigeria forward because you are the future of Nigeria. A decent young man. When you go to Lagos State, you go to that place, Amakoko, people live on the floating river. Mosquito is biting them left and right. These are people. Do you know what 11 million will cost to those people who live in Amakoko, who live on the floating river? And every day they are drinking, they are mixing up with bacteria.
Honestly.
And
what about children in those areas too, who are also having to live within that place?
Exactly. And you are using 11 million pounds to buy a house. And most of these houses they buy, they don't even live there. You are in Nigeria.
They don't. And they pay a lot. They pay a lot to manage those houses, even though they don't live there, Baba.
Exactly. And at the end of it, all this money you have done, it belongs to the British people. They can take it anytime they want.
Yes, they can.
Anytime they want.
Yes, they can take everything.
They can take it. They can take it. You know what I mean? What is important now, that I had the latest news that APC, they are trying to bribe the judge for, in fact, the PDP just came up on a program now that APC is trying to bribe the judge for tomorrow's tribunal. Well, it might be
anybody still believing that they want to, or they want to. Well, I believe you. I believe that they don't say to everybody, to the Supreme Court self. If they pay them any money again, now extra. Maybe if they do a job well done. But tell me more about the one you had that they are about to pay them.
But what they don't understand, you know what happened? You can bribe anybody you want in life. Yeah, the fight of Nigerians today,
yes,
it's no longer the fight of P2B. It's no longer the fight of. They have to fight. There is an imaginable fight they cannot be able to win, and that is the obedience.
Yes.
Do you know why obedience is so dangerous? Obedience is dangerous. It's a nightmare to even Tinubu. Obedience is a nightmare to Tinubu. Why obedience is so dangerous? Obedience is even a nightmare to Obi. Trust me. That's the way
you control them. Obi said it. He said, even me, if I say something they don't like, they give it to me too. And I understand why. He said, I understand why they are angry. Anybody who wants to understand them, you need to understand why they are angry. And that's when you understand how to relate with them. But trust me, they are the nightmare.
This issue of Ekweremadu will know you where you know obedience is coming from. Even if today, that tomorrow, that the election petition, they award Obi to be president, and Obi enter there and start fumbling. Obedience will remove him.
It will have them to deal with. See, Baba, thank you so much. Let me take another one as our time is currently winding down.
All right, take it easy.
Yes, sir. You have a good one. Take it. So I have another caller on the line. Hello there.
Hello, Maiyegun General.
Is that Prince Jejeman?
Yes, Baba, this is Prince Jejeman. Baba, hello.
Jejeman. How you doing, Baba? Thank you.
No, Baba, I'm fine. Baba, you too much.
Thank you.
Respect.
Thanks, Baba.
Yeah, Baba, today, you see, yesterday was the coronation of our new king.
That's right.
You know, King Charles III.
Do you know that I saw a picture on Twitter, and because I don't have you on Twitter, right? And I was like, this is Prince Jejeman now. How did you dress yesterday? Tell me. Did you put on flags and all of that?
Exactly.
So it was you.
I came. Yes, it was me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yes. Yesterday, we were there as usual. I know IPOB, we always at the front. You know, no matter how it be, we not say we go put head there because we believe in our vision and mission. Okay. You see, before yesterday on the 5th, IPOB went to town to holla, you know, to our new king, so that Buhari coming to London is an abomination for him to receive him.
He should never have
because
that.
he's a kidnapper.
They put him inside the crowd. The first video I saw was like, oh, see where they put him. So some people are now saying that, you know, I mean, he also stood and took pictures with the head of state. They put him for front. So you mean the calamity where they check King Charles III? You have a word of advice for the king. Go on, please.
Yes, so long live our king.
Long live.
You know, my own advice to our king, our new king, great king, is that he should look for a holy water to, you know, sprinkle anywhere that Buhari marched, anywhere that he sat down, you know, because Buhari, anywhere he goes, they carry bad luck. So that he shouldn't allow the abomination of Ruga in Nigeria, you know, to become tradition in other places of the world. That is our own advice.
But he's probably having his last day. He told them, he said, this is my last time you're going to see me as a Nigeria president and all of that. So it's probably like an evaporating disease. It will not make any much impact, I think. Or don't you?
So at the end of time, we will catch him anywhere where wrong go. We don't say that you agree in IB.
time done the near for anybody we won't catch gibbering right now. Anywhere you see him, they're saying go disappear. You won't even see him.
No, the world, Maiyegun, the world is a global village. You understand me, so?
Say if he,
yes,
if he run, you know if he hide.
You see, Ekweremadu don't know say one day George see they read in scenes before him and abroad though, and they will be counting houses that he owned all over the world. That the one that they can hold their hand at the moment is about 40. I think you get what I'm saying.
I do with you.
Because he didn't know the world is a global village. You see, so if you are promoting a grazing route or Ruga or whatever you call it, waterways bill, all those archaic ideology, the whole world is a global village. One day, Yasin will get to you. You get what I'm saying? You know, Maiyegun, on the other hand, you see, Ekweremadu, Nigeria don't happen to her. You see, said the rich also cry. So you on one side. You see, you know, when you are during your broadcast, you talk about this the court issue.
Yes.
You know, I mean the conspiracy theory. You know, when you are saying that,
I said, tell us, go on.
So you know, on your program, you always say things that happen ahead, because why? You can put 1 and 2 together and you get the answer. Do you understand? It doesn't need you to be a prophet to know that Nigeria is a disaster in waiting. Okay. Now, Maiyegun, based on your narrative, you see these people how fearful and how dangerous they are. Where they have for them to have a grip on May 29, they are promoting a bill that will stop you your fundamental human right to protest, which is in that way that the APC, terrorist and terrorism government with PDP, they are the same.
Yes.
No. Do not forget that these two people, they are the same people. You understand? Atiku, I told you the other day, he just set
they
up.
Say Atiku is even more dangerous than Buhari when it comes to this Fulani or that, or it is yet to be seen. Go on, the prince.
Exactly. So you see, for them to be promoting to that bill, that if you ever talk, if you ever protest, or in fact, before you make protest, you should come to the Ministry of Communication to get this thing, approval. They know that the bottleneck,
which they will never
maybe protest, the protest we do in a week, it will take for their 4 years of tenure for them to approve many lineup. Are you getting me? So that will tell you that if they approve that kind of bill, automatically what they are saying is that May 29, if they not give their judgment, which we anticipate, we are not. You don't need a pastor to prophesy to us.
Yes, exactly. So when you put one of them together, you can say, "Hey," but I didn't hear you, Baba. Go on. After May 29,
we know that May 29, they are going to hand over power to Shetima. Okay, Shetima, who has the mantle of Ruga and the grazing route and waterways bill agenda, to possess and dispossess and occupy, you understand, all part of Nigeria. Are you getting me? That is the only agenda. Without that, there won't be nepotism all over Nigeria. Okay? So that is where we are going. So on May 29, their bill on National Assembly, they have all the numbers, being that all the senator and everything from the north, they have the number to now forward that bill and stamp it. Okay, so that their soldier and police will be ready, okay, on ground to enforce the law. Their terrorist law. Are you getting what I'm saying? You know, so May 29, when they hand over to Shetima, Because Kolu doesn't know he dey spend the money. That's it. At the last money he go spend before God go come out him with 2 wins. Are you getting me? So now there we there, Maiyegun. So on May 29, they will hand over to Shetima. Then their bill at National Assembly will support them. You know, so now bring out their soldier everywhere. But Maiyegun, on the conclusion, what our people should know is this. Sri Lanka, soldier we are there, police we are there. When people came out, but persistent at the end, police and the army has to join the people to protest, and even because them police and army are suffering too, and DSS, they are only obeying order. That is just the only order. Is just what's putting them in bondage. But the Uganda soldier, the man that is holding his salary, he is a bodyguard. He has to send him to God for judgment first. You understand? So others are sitting up in Uganda now.
That person they came in Uganda is labor minister. They said he didn't pay salary, and his labor minister. They enjoy his own life, you know, and his bodyguard is always with him everywhere. The guy will come to work every day, and when it's time for him to go home, he has nothing to take to his family, but he must come back tomorrow. And he's seeing the minister living large. One day, he just pull out his Beretta, is gone. And he just shot him, execution style, and handed over and said, "Take me, I'm dead anyway."
That is an act of terrorism, isn't it, Maiyegun? Is it not an act of terrorism?
It should be.
It's an act of terrorism, Baba. Even the one Ekweremadu do self, an act of terrorism. You understand? They call thief. Say thief, that thief you be.
Yes.
Me, I'm Igbo man, I say Biafra. Ekweremadu is an Igbo man.
He's a very corrupt man. Baba, which one be corrupt man? He's a thief. And you know what thieves do?
He's a thief.
They steal from you. Which one is
their art is act of terrorism. You know, act of terrorism. That's what they are promulgating. You know, there's no 2 ways about it. It's not the only way you carry gun, shoot somebody. You don't commit terrorism. Your action, you know, can also lead to, is part of the terrorism, because action that grows and grows also to the extent somebody will carry gun and start to kill people everywhere.
I say, if you want to kill me, but I go kill this man first. The Prince Jejeman.
Well done, Jared. Well done, Baba. Well done. God bless you.
It's been a pleasure. Let me take another call. You see this caller? It has been so very persistent.
Hello.
Sir, I love your persistence, sir. You've not given up. And I like that. How are you?
I'm very well, Maiyegun. My name is Chim.
Chim. Sir.
And yes. It's actually Chimeze, but it's Chim. I'm calling from Calgary in Canada.
Go on, sir, please.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I'm trying to contribute to this Ekweremadu's issue. Like you rightly already stated, you know, I think anybody, whether you call yourself Igbo, Hausa, that is supporting Ekweremadu, you must be sick.
Something must be wrong.
You need to check into the psychiatrist hospital for mental evaluation. You know, if you recall, this man went for New Yam Festival some time ago. I think, was it Germany or somewhere?
Germany, yes, it was.
Good. And New Yam Festival, now Igbo Tino, and Igbos there embarrassed him. Remember?
I do.
And tore his clothes and everything. So, and you rightly said it. This man, with all the volume of money he had, in fact, I even made the case. I said, why didn't him and his wife donate one of their kidneys to their child? Why are they looking for someone else to do that?
They were so scared about the risk. So it's not worth it.
Okay,
so a poor boy can take it from them.
Okay. So, but I think the problem with Nigerians have a problem. And I have told people, I think the whole thing is that why we support this evil is because people are anticipating they will be in that position so that they can do their own. You understand what I mean? So a lot of Nigerians who support evil, who support corrupt politicians, who support the kind of thing Ekweremadu is doing. I've had some, disagreement with people on this issue. And I was happy when we joined up today and you began to repeat almost the things I've discussed with people. This was plain wickedness. If this guy had died, what will anybody say?
Well, it's not.
They would have just forgotten him.
You know what's today, Baba? You know what actually muzzles me, right? Is that we understand the condescending way those who claim to be rich look down on those who are not as kind of blessed as them. But how do you kind of explain when you see all of us who are trying to kind of be something, and we look down on the rest of those who are trying to be something, simply because we all see that, well, I mean, poor people looking down on poor people because they have a little advantage. How do you explain that? That's the mess up. That's the real mess up.
It's a big one. And the daughter just did a video and was saying that she disagrees with the judgment. So I told somebody who sent me that video, they said, this girl is just a chip of the old block.
She's just like her parents, no doubt.
Exactly. So if she's in the position to repeat this thing, she will do it. Again. I empathize with her. I empathize with her in America. I pray to God she finds solution. But to be honest with you, the parents deserve to be, in fact, if there is anything worse than N1, they should throw them inside that place. Let them go and stay there. So because I'm telling you, Nigerian police. Oh yes, I know now. I know. You know,
considering what the judge said, like Sonia, which is your daughter, I feel for her that she needs you. Now you won't be there to give her the motherly hug and care. I understand, but that will never negate what you have done. It won't.
Exactly.
To serve your punishment for what you have done. That's this country.
Exactly.
Law, empathy, passion.
Yes.
Of course, they all exist. But none of them is there to hamper the progress of another. The law will still take its course.
Exactly.
It will show empathy.
For
it
sure.
will show all that, right? Not in Nigeria. The poor will take will have to take the fall, unfortunately.
I'll just end and not waste too much of time. I hope the Nigerians back home in Nigeria have learned a lesson, but I doubt they have even learned any lesson. They will still look for a new way. Maybe now they won't come to UK anymore. They'll start going to Thailand to go and do it. They'll start going to all those other places. But at least I'm happy this kind of thing has happened. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much for being persistent as well. Some people would have given up, but you didn't.
No. I know you are busy.
Oh, thank you. I like that for those who are considering now. So it's been a pleasure, right? My regards to our people in
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. Cheers, sir.
Yes.
So that's Chimeze from Calgary in Canada, and I love his submission, and I bet some of you do too. I have another caller on the line here. Hello there.
Maiyegun General.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm very well. Good evening, and thanks for asking, sir.
Yes. A caller called, I think about the first caller.
Yes.
And it was saying Nigerians don't have conscience anymore. You see, a blind mind is worse than a blind eye.
So true, sir.
When your mind is blind, there is no conscience. The politicians in Nigeria have moved Nigeria gradually to a point where they cannot think, or they don't have any conscience anymore for anything. When you look at what is happening in Nigeria, it makes you think as if they're living in a different world.
Honestly.
There is this Ekweremadu. I say UK will never be UK. No matter who you are, what you are, where you live, whatever. If you commit a crime, you'll be dealt with according to the law.
That's right.
Now, this man smuggled somebody into this country to take a kidney by force, and people are not saying that, and they're still saying, "Is he the only person?" I don't just get Nigeria.
Sad, Baba. It is sad.
I had to be talking to one idiot this afternoon online. He was saying, "Okay, I think you put on the post there, or it was on the Twitter." Right. And somebody said, Tinubu son bought a house for 11 million pounds, and like, so I was like, okay, what is this guy doing? What does he do? We don't know anything about him. Somebody now said to me, is he only him that has money? Have I ever seen a politician in Nigeria who has no criminal record? And I said, are you that stupid to be talking like that?
I'm telling you.
So
it's a diverting tactic, okay? They will tell you that, but you know, it's sad though, seriously. It's a diversionary tactic. They do that to make you to play the crime down. So if somebody has so much money, let's even say anybody can have money. We know Sheyi didn't have any job, for real, okay? He didn't have any job. Now, if they say he has a business as an advertising company in Lagos, okay, then that means if he could produce $11 million, then that means that must be the profit from his business, Abi. Then he should bring his tax return. He should bring his business, what do you call it? How much is paid in tax to Lagos state government from his business. So that we can have an idea that the money is legit, but we'll be wasting our time. We know the money is not legit. We know the source. And how much of that money came from Alpha Beta, Baba? Go on, sir.
The company go what 11 million pounds.
Sure, you get it.
They go advertising in Nigeria. No, let's be serious. But the company is not worth $11 million.
$1 million here to the advertising agency.
Good night.
He told you, but we will never stop saying it. Here you get. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here we go. I have another caller on the line. I hope the line is good.
And the caller is
hello there.
Beautiful evening, Maiyegun.
Hey, good evening to you, dear sister or ma'am or lady.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Whatever.
And now,
anything on the line.
Oh,
anything for
I should have actually kind of grabbed that immediately you came on. But Chichi, you kind of sometimes love to twist the voice for some reason, and I kind of get confused. But good enough. It's good to have you back.
Father, thank you very much. How's the family?
Well, we thank God. Thanks for asking. Okay, how are you?
Very well, thank you too.
Beautiful. Please go on.
The swagger in the country back against our very beloved country that used to be beloved, but now, let's rock and roll the country, whichever way it comes.
It is a rock and roll.
For the politicians, I'm hoping they could learn from all the swagger that is happening with Ekweremadu, knowing very well that we can't predict tomorrow.
No, we can't.
Yeah. And they could think maybe he was not smart enough to have beat what have happened to him.
Some people
but
think
can
he's
they
not
really
smart
be
enough.
smart about
I
it?
don't think he's
yeah.
smart. I don't think he's not smart. He's smart. He just get caught.
It's not about being smart. So what am I talking about? What I'm saying here is if I were them, I would stop being stupid and put some structure in place, because they will be beneficiary of that and structure. I don't just get it why we will have
people, Chichi. I have said this many times, and I think a lot of people agreed with me. Now, you see, when somebody says something about poverty of the mind, and another person came in to say, if you have a blind mind, even if you can see, right, you will still end up where they found themselves. But listen, when people who are supposed to build infrastructures choose to steal the money and deny the people that infrastructures, right? They're also denying themselves. If you fail to build roads,
of course,
you're going to have to drive on the bad road yourself too. If you fail to build electricity, you're going to have to kind of to fuel your generator to get power. You're not going to have yours from the blues. If you fail to build and construct hospitals, right? Sure, you get. If you fail to provide healthcare, one day you're going to need an emergency healthcare, and you will not be able to access them except you leave. Ekwere way. Chichi. Sorry, Chichi. You can go on. I don't know if you're. Yeah.
Okay. You said exactly what I had wanted to say. I'm just bringing it to their attention. It's okay, darling. It's okay. I'm just bringing it to their attention. It's high time they wake up, smell the doors, feel the whole bullshit they are doing. They're also doing themselves.
Yeah.
They should put some structure in place so that when crises like this happen or cause, they can benefit from it. They don't need to go to Obodo Yubo like we the Igbos will say Obodo Yubo. The Obodo Yubo, we are still the ones making the Obodo Yubo what it is. Right. We can fix our own place and enjoy all those facilities back home. We don't need to go to Cavantine to get what you can get in Sokoto. And stop running around and chasing what is not anywhere. It's good it happens. Beautiful it happens. But will they learn a lesson from it? Will they cue from me? Will they correct some part of their mistake? Will they wake up? Will they embrace it and know that they're not getting things right? It's up to them. If they choose to ignore it or make it look like it's of no concern to them, more will happen and we will sit back and laugh at them. And I, for one, will enjoy my drink while laughing at them. It's as simple as ABC.
Right.
Maiyegun, my darling, please keep up the good job. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And keep the good job going. I'll be watching you from here. Bye bye.
Oh, I just lost that call. Sorry if that, I just lost a call. Then I think I got it back now. We are coming to the end of this chat. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, my good general.
Thank you for not giving up. I've been seeing you trying. You are going to be my last caller tonight. So, sir, it's been a pleasure having you. So, please go on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
So, you see, Ekweremadu, Ekweremadu is a habitual criminal. He's a criminal. So, no need to wait to deceive ourselves. Criminal, because that guy is a lawyer. He knows the law.
Yes.
And he studied in the Western world also.
He did.
This guy, he have a lot of contacts. He knows everything. This guy, you see, anytime Nnamdi Kanu, he always call that guy name. But some people don't know. That guy have a very bad record. Many people don't. Do you know how many years that guy have been in Senate?
Since
many years. Yes.
Over 20 years.
This is the people that started this democracy. Yes. He's the one that started this democracy, right from Obasanjo until today. Every contract that he gives award to the Igbo land, this man switch the money. And the very greedy man, very greedy. And every property, he bought them with his name, very name.
Like there is nothing
like the person that someone see.
Ekweremadu himself paying for all of those properties in his name.
Yes. The man don't send. That's why that God catch him there, because this man, there is a way that you do something. Now you're thinking that the power, everything belongs to you, that he has the power. That's the problem of him. If you want what happened there, you just want to use the little boy. He's that in daughter arrange everything. They just want to harvest that guy out there. He's a criminal. He has doing this thing for a long time. This is not today. This is what they are doing in Nigeria. Look at the court of Okususas.
Yes.
The woman being, the harvest woman being. These people is into trafficking of a woman organ. This is what they are doing in that country.
You know what they have a lot of things. See, sir, you know that Okususas, from the eyewitness, those who survived it, they said that place so horrible that they will operate people alive. Like they go hold you like you are not there though. You are not sedated though. They will open people alive like this. Yes. They will cut them open and take their bleeding heart and cut it off and put it in an ice. And right there you will see somebody, they will die on that table. They call it abattoir. Okususas in Anambra. Abattoir, where they take people's organ live. Not be said they go even care for you and sedate you so that you won't feel it live. Yes. I heard a lot.
Yes.
That Okusu is just
what people are doing it's politicians. It's politicians. No other people. These people put the policemen and working with them. It's politicians. That's why the corruption we have is a lot. All these politicians and police, all their security, all of them are together, working together to kill innocent people. Only thing can save Nigeria is a revolution bluntly. Let us to die. If you want the people that survive, they will start another country. No kingdom can stand without revolution. Nigeria needs a serious revolution. Bluntly one. Don't care of anybody. The Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, any tribe, no. The problem we have is politicians. These people come together to poverty people, to kill them, take whatever that belongs to them. That's what they are doing. Look at that poor boy. The way that he used that poor boy. He just want to have that guy. Even the guy don't know anything that he's going to do.
Baba, they all can't blame the boy. Say the boy in a bad person. He can't bring a big man down.
Which bad?
Baba, that is the one that actually broke my heart. Like, how could you blame this boy after hearing all you heard? Typical Nigeria, Baba.
The guy don't know nothing. He don't see the statement of the guy. The guy he don't want to take. He don't want to partake in any money from that criminal. That evil. He say he evil money. He don't need that money. He don't want anything. What he's seeking is to give him a referendum too. That's what he needs now. Nothing again. He don't care for the money. These people was used. Even when we go, that doctor give that boy. Do you know how much he gives that boy for Nigeria? 280,000 naira.
That's what I heard, though. 280,000 naira they give him before they put him inside the plane. Somebody they promised 2,000. Man.
Yes. Without nothing, they just want to use the innocent boy. Just go and waste his life. The life of Ekweremadu children is it more valuable than the boy?
More important than
the way they take the poor people.
So listen, I've put up a picture, the family picture of Ekweremadus on the screen.
Yes.
Now, what makes these ones? What makes their life better than the life of that boy? Because they are.
Just tell me, my brother.
From public fund. What makes Ekweremadu's family that looks this happy and healthy? What makes them better than that boy?
Yes.
That boy's life.
Tell me. But the Nigeria, Nigeria is turn by turn. The other criminals that are growing, they are growing coming. They will not tell you the truth. All of them are like when they marry. They are looking for their time. This is the problem of Nigeria. Everybody is waiting for a turn to see. Everybody. Those ones you see that writing nonsense, telling you Ekweremadu is the best person because it's evil. These people are the waiting criminals. They are waiting. They are waiting for their turn to see.
Their own ass lickers.
That's something in their mind. Nothing again. That's the only thing in their mind. Our turn is coming. That's the only thing.
God bless you.
This is the way they look Nigeria. Everybody is waiting for a turn. Those criminals you see, all of them they are the same level. They are criminals. They are waiting for their turn. Because these big criminals have told them, after us is you people. Just cool down. It's their turn. Their turn is coming. Just like Tinubu was waiting for his time. But this is his own turn now. This is all of them. This is what they have brainwashed all the youth.
That's what they do.
These criminals have brainwashed them to everybody to wait for his turn. So my brother, that country, nothing again. We need bloody revolution. After it, every people go their way. Finish. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Keep on for the good work.
Thank you so much. When you said that those of us will survive the revolution, we can fight for another country or a new country around that time. But first, more we enter ourselves. I like that. So thank you a lot for your time and this. Okay. And on that note, we are going to be rounding up and call it a night.
Yeah, thank you.
To everybody who has been trying to call in and they've not been able to, I know our 3 hours is done. So you can wait for another time. I'm thinking that maybe we should have the People's Parliament tomorrow. People's Parliament is where you can come on the screen, where you can actually come and express yourself about any issue, anything. Sure, you get. It's not about, calling in and then you are not getting through. No, People's Parliament is where you can just get a link and join the studio. Speak your mind for 5 minutes, right? And that's you. And we can take as many people as possible. And it's always so interesting, the People's Parliament, okay? Anyway, I don't have much to add, right? If you are just joining us or you join us midway, I advise you watch this from the beginning, okay? Try to. It's worth it. Sweet in the middle, sweet from the beginning, sweet in the middle, sweet in the end, right? Whichever way you join, you would enjoy it. However, from tomorrow, you can watch all the replays of all today's broadcast, including the premieres of them where they have already been cut into a little smaller, spaces. Above it all, thank you for spending your evening with me again, as always. I will see you some other time. Until then, don't leave without paying that your offering. Like the broadcast, subscribe to my channel, right? And then join me the next time. So from us, or from me to you, good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun Diary, Diary Politico.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o, kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré,
ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n ní